Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me for our first podcast interview for the Ties That Bond DFW. I'm here to talk to local residents, business owners, to learn their stories, to inspire others, and to just help us all be more connected as a community in this world where so much is social media based and focused, and not everything that you see online is real. And I just want to help create those connections and really get to know people in our community. And today I am honored to be talking to Miss Sasha Nieves. I reached out to her a little recently, and I'm just here to have her talk about her cosmetology business, life as a mom, and her heritage, and just ways for her to inspire others. And I'm excited to get to know her. Welcome, Sasha. How
Hey
are you
Amber, how are
doing
you doing?
today?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm good. Thank you. Of course, it's my pleasure. So first of all, Sasha, just kind of give us a brief intro and kind of tell us about yourself.
Sure. I was actually raised here in the DFW. I went to school in Arlington ISD, graduated from Seguin High School, and I currently live in Mansfield. And I'm just happy to help anyone in DFW or anyone just looking for some inspiration. And um, you mentioned who you want to talk to. I'm Hispanic. We've got 5 children. I'm married to a veteran. I mean, a new business owner. Just lots of facets to my life, and I'm happy to share any of that with you.
Oh, indeed, indeed, wonderful. Well, I guess we'll start with growing up, as a kid, kind of what your life was like and kind of how you ended up in the cosmetology field. As a former cosmetologist, I'm really interested to hear about that.
Sure, yeah. So growing up, I was actually born in Waco, Texas, and I was raised by my mom and stepdad. My dad was actually incarcerated when I was 1. I kept a relationship with him, but it was really just writing letters and things like that. But my stepdad was amazing. So we lived there till I was about 9, and then we moved to the DFW area. I grew up playing softball, like loved school, like was very involved, and that was something that my mom definitely pushed me to do. And I was very social, so I really enjoyed that. Um, Post high school, though, it was kind of rushed for me to go to college, and I feel like I just really didn't know what I wanted to do. I ended up like dropping my classes, withdrawing, like not doing great. And when I came back, I just thought, what am I good at? Like, what can I do, um, that gives me purpose, that I'm happy to do? And I thought initially I wanted to do nursing because I wanted to help people, but I actually took the cosmetology route and I still got to help people. It was just in a different way, just enhancing their beauty. And um, I ended up being really good at it and I loved it. And yeah, I still practice, not full time, but it's something that I still have great interest in. I have clients here and there. But yeah, the cosmetology industry actually led me to teaching cosmetology, and that is so rewarding, or was so rewarding.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny doing people's hair. I'd say you'd be surprised. You wouldn't be surprised, but people would be so as for others. It's just their whole demeanor. And I feel like that's a big part of self care, which is kind of in health, anyways. Um, so that's great that you kind of ended up into that career and on into teaching as well. Um, what do you feel like drives your passion to teach others about cosmetology? Mhm.
Oh, yes. So there are many, I feel like, factors. Some of them were just seeing some of the stylists in the industry just um, just wonderful. I mean, just wonderful stylists, but sometimes just lacking some of that customer service piece, or maybe just not grasping the full concept. And so when I had the opportunity,
Mm.
I received a scholarship to go back to instructor school for cosmetology. I was like, this is my chance to really hone in on these students. And so I actually taught in a private school setting. And so I taught adults. And I remember just being like so nervous, this 24-year-old young stylist teaching. And it was, I mean, that first year was so rewarding. It was just so nice to see those students say, like, thank you so much for breaking this down and teaching me the foundation. And so um, after that first year, I just
Mm.
continued to just grow. And I think that my passion was just really just helping these. I would say majority of them were women. I had a few male students and they were wonderful, but the women in the industry really just need that
Right.
confidence. And when they're confident behind the chair, they like show this, they give the client that confidence in the chair, and it just, the whole area is just glowing. And so I just love that I was able to give them that, and for them to feel that um, behind the chair.
That's really amazing. I had an amazing cosmetology instructor myself. Her name was Chris Faber, I believe. So any of my Abilene friends listening will know her. Um, but that's great that you were able to give them that confidence. That was important to me as well back when I was in school. That's really great. And so, what are some challenges do you feel like that you have had within cosmetology or any other part of life that kind of helped push you forward that you've learned from in your life?
Sure. I feel like there were some things within like teaching cosmetology. I know I mentioned like that first year was wonderful, and it seemed like my growth as a teacher in cosmetology. I think initially I was so this, that, and there was one I can still remember it. I think I was maybe 25, so it's been over 10 years. I still remember this one time that I was able to sub for another class, and it was my first time subbing on the clinic floor. And I was mainly a classroom teacher, and so I was like, make sure you put your phones away, like this or this, client is important. And I go back to that after I've been teaching for so long now. I think, why did I feel like I needed to make everything so by the rule. In cosmetology, you learn so much more by breaking the rules. And I say that once you've learned the foundation, then you know how to break the rules, what color works with what chemicals work, and how to cut a little bit differently. But I think that I was so focused on structure and how everything needed to be. I think back to that time and I'm like, man, like, um, I should have been a little bit easier. And I mean, shout out to those students in that class. I promise I was not being, it didn't come from a bad place. I think I was just so new into teaching. But that also brings me to, that also brings me to more recently, I was able to teach in public school, and man, just giving back
Mm,
my education and my knowledge to those students. I mean, you think in high school, like these are 14 to 18 years old, and they're
mm,
just sponges, just ready to learn. And it was just so rewarding giving back to my community and showing them that they could be so
mm,
successful. Even as young as they are, I mean, they're little hustlers. I just love that
mm.
about them. So,
Yeah, that's
and
so great that. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's great. That how much you enjoy mentoring to them, and sometimes high school I've heard isn't the easiest age to teach. So the fact that you're able to go in there and have that passion and not feel like, oh, it's too late. Some people are like, oh, I'll never teach high school. But that you see that spirit in them, that they still want to learn and that you still want to pour into them. That's amazing. Did you have something else you're going to say? I kind of jumped in there.
No, you kind of hit it on the nail on the head. You know, high school is a little bit more challenging. There are other things that go into play. I mean, these students are they're sometimes they're not paying a tuition. Sometimes they just think like, oh, this is just a class that we're just going to do hair all day, and there's more to it. You know, there's sanitation, there's customer service, there's a written exam, there's a practical exam. And so those things
Mhm.
were challenging to help the student with, especially if they were already doing sports. They're struggling with their grades, and I taught at a Title I district, and so some of those
Mm.
students just weren't as fortunate as others. And so that really was the fire beneath me that said, look, we got to get this together. We got to get this going. And as challenging as it was, I mean, they made it through, and it was very rewarding as much as it was definitely challenging.
Awesome. Yeah, but there's a lot of half and half there.
For sure.
um, so when I was kind of asking, yeah, um, I was kind of asking, just different things that you're passionate about, and you mentioned, helping to mentor people in the cosmetology field in the beauty industry towards entrepreneurship and financial freedom. Can you kind of tell me a little bit about that as well?
Absolutely. So, let me start by why that or how that got started. So, I ended up leaving my district. I
Yes.
have actually two babies back to back, 1 year after the next. And unfortunately, I struggled with some postpartum depression and just some PTSD about returning, just because I think internally I felt
Mm.
like I was letting my students down, and it was just hard for me to get back. So in 2024, I ended up uh, leaving, and as much as it hurt me, I needed time home with the girls. I needed time for myself, and in that time home, I decided, okay, I'm gonna go back to school. Like I just had my cosmetology license. I've always wanted to get my degree, and so I started at TCC, taking some classes, and I didn't know what I wanted to
Mm.
do, where I wanted that degree to be directed. And then I thought, you know what, let me do accounting. I like numbers, I like math. And in the back of my mind, I always thought, regardless of the degree that I get, I'm going to give back to the cosmetology industry because when you think about that cosmetology license, while we hit on a very small sector of business, it's more about, hair or skin or nails. And so that had always been something in the back of my head that I wanted to do. So fast forward to January of this year, I was introduced to financial advising from my sister-in-law, and I love her so much, and I'm so blessed that she was able to give me this opportunity. And so I told myself, what I will do with this is I'm going to help anyone in the
Can you
beauty
say
or
the
laundry
name of what she introduced you to? It cut out a little bit. I'm sorry.
to financial advising. Can you hear me?
Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
No, it's all great. Okay, so yes, she introduced me to financial advising. And at that point, we had a convention that we went to, and it almost was it was just surreal because in my life, for as long as I could remember, I always prayed and asked God, what is my purpose here? Like, what am I doing here? How do I help others? And yes, cosmetology was a way that I could and make people, just enhance their beauty, but I wanted more. I felt like there was more purpose. So, um, I had this like aha moment of this is it. I'm here to, if I like numbers and, I've taught all these students like this has to be the way that I help them coming from the industry. So they feel like, okay, she kind of knows the business, but helping them with saving, helping them with budgeting. I mean, 20 to 30% of new
Mhm.
cosmetologists out in the industry
Mm.
um, don't make it. And some of that majority of that, I would say, is from not being financially smart. I mean, they make their money and they spend it as soon as they make it, and we've got to teach them how to be financially responsible with that. And so that is what my business is helping them be
Mhm.
financially um, educated
Mhm.
for sure.
That's so important. And I've heard many people say it isn't how much you make, it's what you do with it, what you do with what you do make. So if you're able to manage your money, even at a small amount, it'll yield larger. That's so important. Like you said, for anyone in any career or line of work, including myself. Um, but that's amazing. That's really great. And I love that that's your passion and that you're giving people those tools, because boy, we really need it now more than ever, to be able to manage our money. Um, but that's great. Do you have a website or anything that you would like to tell me about that I can link up later and that our listeners can go to? Mhm.
Absolutely. So, on all social media handles, I'm Artisan Wealth Advisors. I'd love to connect. I would love to help in any way that I possibly can. And while I do say, it is for beauty, barber, aesthetics, if there are any entrepreneurs who would just like to some additional financial help, a little advice, just anything at all, like just reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you out.
Okay, wonderful. Now it did cut out just a second ago again. Are you talking about the your social media handle, Artisan Wealth Advisors?
Yes.
Okay, great. So that it's artisan.wealth.advisors
Yes.
is how it was written here. So you guys can definitely go and check out her pages. As I get everything set up a little bit more with this podcast, I'll have links you can click on and you can learn more about Sasha and all the amazing things she's doing. Did you have any other thoughts? Anything you want to let me know or say?
Absolutely. Thank you, Amber. Yes, there's just a couple more things I'd love to hit on. For the audience,
Oh, please.
wonderful. I would like to let them know, like, I am Mexican American. I am here for the community. My heart is where I can give back to minorities because that's my heritage. And so I'd love to help anyone and everyone, but that's really where I am. I will say I did mention my dad was incarcerated. He's still incarcerated. He will be in there for life, but I tell you what, um, your heritage, your background, whatever it is, you can be better. You can break any generational curse that you feel like you have. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. Just put your mind to it. If it takes me, Sasha, telling you or waking you up or whatever it is, I'm here to show you we can do it together. My husband is Puerto Rican and he is very proud and he did the military and he's just so wonderful, but we didn't grow up with the wealth of knowledge that we have now. And I'm just here to give you whatever it is that you need, whether it's inspiration, whether it's financial help. And I'm just here for the community. And I wish everyone the best on whatever journey that is. Did I mention I have 5 kids? Girl, yes. That's for another day. But yes, you can do
Oh,
it.
wow. Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's a huge one. Yeah. Awesome. That is very inspiring, Sasha. Thank you for coming to talk to me and talk to my listeners and inspiring. And I love that you're just part of the mosaic of DFW. And I'm so glad to hear your voice today. And yeah, we'll be in touch and see everybody next time.